right, let's get started here. This morning we're reading lesson 219. 219 is the next to last of a review block. A bunch of review lessons where we look back on lessons that we've read previously. And this morning's a review of 199. 199, the title of lesson 199 is I'm Not a Body, I'm Free. And the general instructions here are to review in this review block of these last 19 and tomorrow's. We begin and end each session with the theme of these 20. And the theme of these 20 is, again, almost identical to the title of 199. I'm not a body, I'm free, for I am still as God created me. Anybody coming to this room the last 20 days or so, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's the same thing over and over again. Today is your day to focus on not being a body, being free from this bodily experience, being still, being as God created you. The lesson is, I'm not a body, I'm free. I am God's son. I am God's daughter. I am God's child. Be still, my mind, and think a moment upon this, that I am God's child. And then return to earth without confusion as to what my Father loves forever as his child, as his son, as his daughter. I am not a body. I am free, for I am still as God created me. All right, I'm going to go back and read the notes from Tom's book. It's for lesson 219, so just give me 1 minute. I'm going to flip through some of these pages, and I'll be right back with you. Hey there. Good morning, Tom. Welcome.
Can you
Good
check
morning.
your mic? Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay.
Good morning.
effect on both the past and the present. To most, the future is the natural consequence of our past because our belief in the linear progression of change in time. The body appears to anchor you in time. You cannot perceive yourself as a body without your belief in time. When you identify your existence with the body, you also accept the limitations that come with the body. The ego created the body to be its home. The purpose of the body is to keep you tied to time and your ego's belief in separation. If you believe that your mind is the bodily part that we call the brain, you must accept the limitations that come with that body. The body is a smokescreen that hides the creative power of mind from your own awareness. By identifying mind with the limits of the body, you fail to realize the creative power that you possess as the decision maker for your experiences in your world. Your ego gets its way and keeps you accepting littleness as your reality. Within your ego's thought system, the idea that you are not the body and are free to create your own reality is inconceivable. Inconceivable! The ego sees such beliefs as total insanity, for the ego's thought system is the birthplace for fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. False experiences appearing real. False, pick your letter E word, appearing real. Your mind's identification with the body is the anchor that makes fear seem real in time. And it's fleeting in time. If you stay in the moment, fear recedes quickly to the past. Your mind can only be made free when you no longer believe your safety to be tied to the shelter of the body's presence. The body is not your mind's home. When your mind serves the Holy Spirit and comes from love instead of fear, the laws of time and space no longer apply. The mind that serves the Holy Spirit is unlimited, and your ego's preconceived limits are discarded. Your mind has the power to do whatever the Holy Spirit requests, and love and forgiveness replace your ego's past attack thoughts. Your ego uses your identification with the body as protection against your ability as decision maker to choose a different thought system. The ego's thought system is the home for all minds that seek separation and specialness. Isn't that special? The Holy Spirit's thought system is the home for those that seek freedom. When given over to the Holy Spirit, the body becomes a useful communication device and teaching aid for what mind must do. On earth, your mind's purpose is the extension of love and forgiveness. This purpose implies inclusion and the joining of minds. When your mind is in alignment with the Holy Spirit, it is free of conflict, and the body serves the Holy Spirit and your higher self's true purpose. The body no longer has any power to enslave and attack, since your mind is no longer associated with being the body. When you freely choose to follow the thought system of love, the Holy Spirit will utilize your experience to escape the ego's thought system, which teaches that you're a body and that attacks and is attacked. Now, the body serves as a device to communicate with your brother that he is also not a body and is free. The mind that serves the Holy Spirit lives in innocence and only love. The body becomes a useful form for the Holy Spirit to use as a vehicle for fulfilling God's plan on earth. On earth, the body is now the instrument that serves to fulfill your function of extending forgiveness and salvation to all. And that's Tom's lesson. And the question of the day is, would you rather be special or free? And Tom, are you ready for our activity? Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Lee. So this lesson, and we're almost done with the reviews, first of all says that the overall arching theme of these 20 review lessons is that I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. And this one here is almost the completion of that idea. It says, I am not a body, I am free. So I am wondering, in regards to this, we understand what I am not a body. The question that I would pose is, do we understand what I am free really means? In order to be free, you really have to have the total freedom to be or imagine anything that you want, to have a freedom of choice without any consequences that arise from that choice to continue to haunt you into the future. If I told you that you could vote either way, you could vote yes or no, but if you voted no, I was going to shoot you, or I was going to not give you any food or starve you to death, even though I might claim you have the freedom to vote either yes or no, because there's so much consequences associated with your decision. You're not totally free to make that decision, because now, depending on what I do today, that's going to impact my future. So total freedom, or to be free, you have to be able to make a choice without having any ongoing consequences of that choice. This is a little different concept of what most people see as freedom. They tend to think the person that said, well, you could vote either yes or no, but I'm going to have what your actions do, your decision is going to have some consequences onto the future and they're going to impact your future. That person may claim that they're giving you freedom of choice, but because there's so many consequences associated with that, you really don't have total freedom. What they're doing is they're supposedly claiming you have freedom when in reality they are manipulating your decision because of the consequences. So if God is unconditional love, and in order for us to be happy, we need to have freedom to be, and this freedom of choice, we need to be able to have that. We have to have true freedom, the ability to make a choice and not suffer any adverse consequences. This game of time and space gives us the ability to have perfect freedom from the standpoint that when you realize that I am not a body and that any choices you make, any decisions on how you decide to play your game token in physicality has no impact on your true essence, that even if the game token disappeared, you would still continue to exist. And also, in regards to that decision, the decision you make today doesn't have any lasting effect on tomorrow unless you choose to say, I want that to continue to influence my future. In time and space, we believe we're a product of our past, and we believe the past influences our ability to make choices today. The Course in Miracles says you're always free to make a different choice. You're always free, no matter what your past is, to forgive yourself for whatever experiences you've had in the past, any roles that you've played, and to give yourself permission to say, I've learned my lesson. I now realize, and I'm going to reclaim my ability to claim the truth of what I am. For I have always remained as God created me, perfect, whole, and complete. So I am not a body, I am free, for I remain as God created me. Even in time and space, in this illusion that we mistake our game token to be ourselves, the truth remains we still remain as God created us, and there's nothing we can do that can cause the flow of God's unconditional love to us. We can reject it and pretend that the flow isn't coming our way. We can try and block that, but the flow comes. So we need to be aware that in time and space, we have total freedom to choose again. This is why, by making a different choice, we can reclaim our truth, our reality, that I am not a body, I am free, for I still remain as God created me. So freedom is the realization that any role that you play on this game board has no ability to change your spiritual DNA. Now, we've talked about the idea that you are diamond, or you are light, you are pure energy. So it's just your own refusal to accept the truth, your own spiritual DNA, that limits you and places limitations on what you appear to believe is possible, because you perceive that the past somehow still has consequences on your future. How do you get rid of your past? You give yourself permission to forgive all the actors, all the roles that have appeared in your own play of reawakening on your own perfect path to your reawakening of your Christ nature. Give yourself permission by forgiving all people, all actors, including yourself, including your belief in a God of fear and revenge and judgment, and releasing all those, including yourself, and letting go. I say a long time ago, it was actually October and November of 1998. I had, I was working on various projects, and the project was the elimination of beliefs, the discreation of beliefs. And in this case, the Course in Miracles would have really said or called that a little bit different. We called it discreating of beliefs. The Course in Miracles would have called this the granting of forgiveness, the realization that we source our own reality, our own experiences, that they're all learning lessons, and that it's our refusal to realize, in this case, that we are source, that keeps us trapped. And by reclaiming your realization that this is your own perfect experience, perfect path, you become free of those limiting beliefs. So in this case, I was discreating beliefs about myself and about my world and about God. And the Course in Miracles would have, in their terminology, called it, I was forgiving myself of my belief that I was a product of the past and therefore was having to carry those uh, sins that needed to somehow be redeemed in the future, or penance done today so that I could escape them. By forgiving, or in this case, discreating past beliefs, they were basically the same thing, different lingo, but the same result. So I had discreated a lot of beliefs, and I decided, which my handler said couldn't be done, that I wanted to discreate my belief about my existence as a separate entity. And so I wanted to discreate my ego. And in regards to these, these October to November months, there was, and I've never taken any drugs. I've never been drunk in my life, at least not in this lifetime. This was not anything done by drugs or anything. This was totally, uh, I don't want to say manipulating, but being aware of the power of the mind. So I was discreating this belief, and I decided I was going to discreate the idea of my own separate existence. Now, obviously, I wasn't totally able to do that because I'm still here. But what happened in that experience was I was able to at least go far enough that in this dimension of time and space, in this world of perception, I was able, probably now that I look back, able to discreate the idea of separation. And what happened was my vision and my mind lost its ability to create separation amongst all the items that came into my awareness. So, in regards to my vision, all that I was able to see was energy or light moving, dancing around. So, I guess if you wanted to compare it to something, maybe if you've seen the pictures of the northern lights, the uh, Oreo Borealis, whatever it's called, the northern lights, they kind of dance in the sky. That's what I saw. Everything was just dancing lights moving around, very beautiful, and I couldn't identify anything. And I was still able to communicate in some form. I don't want to say if it was telepathy or whatever, but I could hear people and somehow I could, communicate. Uh, and I'm not sure. I guess it was probably in words, but I had lost the ability to differentiate. It was a wonderful experience, just seeing all the see the body forms, all thoughts of separation just disappear. It was a wonderful experience. Okay, and as I watched that, it was an experience that probably was more the truth of what we really are. It's that labeling, that belief in separation that creates this appearance of separation. Now, what's interesting, and this experience went on for it was a number of days. It wasn't the whole 2 months, but it was a prolonged, a protracted period. But I was in ecstasy with it. And, but my handlers were, concerned because I had ceased to be able to function in this world. I, couldn't uh, move about or anything like that. Bumping into things. I just, wasn't a functional adult. I was in a state of ecstasy, but not being able to identify what anything was or where things were. It was just, light. And I was all, well, I don't even know what I was. I was just experiencing. I didn't really uh, see myself in anything. It was just all these lights and everything was just. But because of that inability to differentiate, I was not functional on this game board of time and space. And they needed to get me back into being able to function. And, they were trying to, feed me, get me connected back to the body. They had me on a treadmill. They had me. One of the important things was ultimately to try and start labeling things. They'd try and they'd ask, "What am I saying? What am I seeing?" And I couldn't come up with anything. There was no words to describe because I couldn't really differentiate. They'd eventually say, "Well, say something. It's blah. It's blah." And so they got me to the point where I'd say, what is it? And it's one. They'd say, what's this? It's one. It's one. And eventually, as I slowly came back, I was able to say it's two, or it's something. They'd say, well, that's a plate. That's a chair. And eventually, as I was on the treadmill and stuff like that, and starting to reconnect with the body, I started to recover my identity. And I started to reconnect to this game token. We need the body to function in time and space. But whenever I was discreating things, what I was really doing is I was forgiving myself for all those limiting beliefs. I was discreating those beliefs that the past had some consequences. You are not a body, you are free. Your true reality is pure energy, no separation, oneness. You have within you the ability to realize that. And although in time and space we need this body to be able to function, that is not your true reality. So realize that even in time and space, you have the ability to be totally free. Freedom is the ability to say nothing in this world of time and space, this grand play that's out there for us to remember the truth of what we are. Can bind me. I am free. I am not a body. I am free. I am still as God created me. So let's go, and I know that was kind of a long introduction, but let's reclaim that freedom and realize that we can forgive ourselves for all our past experiences. You are totally free to forgive yourself for all the roles you've played in the past, for all the beliefs that you were not perfect, not whole, not complete, that you were a sinner. It's only your acceptance of the limiting beliefs and your desire to continue to punish yourself for choosing your own perfect path that binds you. So breathe in the total freedom of unconditional love. I am not a body. I am free. I am free from my past beliefs that I could be something other than perfect, whole, and complete. I am energy. I breathe in the freedom as decision maker to decide for myself what I choose to place on my own belief system. I have the freedom to accept the truth of what I am. I breathe in the love of God, which is total freedom. Freedom as decision maker to pull all my limiting beliefs, to accept the truth of what I truly am. I breathe in the freedom. I accept that I am free. I am as God created me. And as I do that, the costumes the roles that I imagined were actually my sisters, my brothers, other individuated aspects of the one self. I see them dropping their costumes. They are light. I accept the vision of Christ. I see that there is only energy, light, pure love. That is what I am. Perfect, whole, and complete. Mary, Lee, Bob, all the dog, Pippin, all my surrounding energy, light, mere costumes. But the truth is the actor behind that costume. Perfect, whole, and complete. There is no separation unless I choose to imagine, to create. There is no past that binds me unless I choose to drag my past into the present, to have my energy board, my circuits plugged in to the past. Today, I am not a body. I am free, and I unplug all those energy circuits that's tied into my past. And as I forgive myself, and as I forgive all the actors for those roles that they play, I start seeing the truth of the light behind the costume. I accept the vision of Christ. I accept the total love, the total freedom to be or imagine anything I want. These costumes that we don, that we place on our true reality, pure energy, they are just neutral communication devices that give us permission, that give us the ability to play on this game of reawakening to the truth that I get to decide. I am that. I am no longer playing in this game board of what am I. Now I reclaim my divine birthright. I am that. I am individuated consciousness. I am the decision maker, and I get to decide what I want to demonstrate or use my game token to communicate with all the other actors on the stage of my grand reawakening. I give myself permission to be free, realizing the past no longer can bind me. I, as decision maker, can forgive, unplug all those beliefs that I'm the product of the past. I am not a body. I am free, for I remain as God created me, unlimited potential energy. I decide where I wish to place my awareness, even in this time space continuum, in this world of perception. My beliefs create my experiences. I have the total freedom to be or imagine anything I want. If I choose to imagine that somewhere, sometime, some actor is perhaps a body, or if they perceive themselves to be a body, they perceive the role to be themselves, I have the ability to hold that truth, that they are not a body. They are free. They're on their own perfect path of reawakening, and their path is helping me realize that I am not a body. I am free. Nothing sources my experience but me, and nothing can rob me of my own inner peace unless I choose to allow energy, light. That is all that's out there on this game board. We don these costumes, but I, through the vision of Christ, realize that all costumes are mere illusion. Separation is unreal, a construct placed upon our light so that we can demonstrate in time and space on this game board of the world of perception what we truly value and what we truly are. Today, I get to decide what I am. I am that pure potential, pure energy. And as like begets like, God being unconditional love, I must be that. I am not a body. I am free, for I am as God created me. Today, as decision maker, I get to decide. Will I follow the voice for fear? Will I, when I don the costume, will I pretend, or will I forget that I am the Christ? Or will I buy into the dance, believe that the costume is really me, and forget to laugh? And if I do, that's okay. I'm on my own perfect path. All that I have to do is ask for guidance, follow the voice for the Holy Spirit, the voice for truth, and forgive myself for those roles. Learn the lesson that I am not a body. I am free. And that freedom means I can always make a new choice. I am free from my past. I forgive myself for all the supposed sins that I did to myself, that my sisters, my brothers, I thought did to me. And I realized they were merely roles. You are free. I am not a body. I am free. And true freedom means you, as decision maker, are free to forgive, to discreate any belief in sin, guilt, fear, blame, shame, guilt. I, as decision maker, give myself the freedom to be free and be able to now realize that all those energies are available to me to be in the present and to be able to decide today as pure energy what I wish to place my awareness on, how I wish to use that energy to help demonstrate what love would have me do. Today, I will use those energies to minimize, control, and eliminate all my fear. I will use those energy circuits, since I have so many, to eliminate my fear so that I can use, if the Holy Spirit advises me to, I could use those energy circuits to help others and hold the truth of what they truly are. I could use my energy circuit to be the light that lights my world. The world is a reflection of me. Now that I have the freedom from the past, I get to decide what I wish to call into my awareness, what I wish to observe in my world, how I wish to play my 100% energy circuits on the game board of the mass collective consciousness, of this game board of time and space, which there's other players, other roles, other actors, and how I wish to play and interrelate with them. Today, I get to decide whether or not I'm going to mistake the roles for the truth of what they truly are, whether I'm going to hold grievances, where I'm going to pretend that somehow I, as decision maker, have abdicated my own responsibility for my freedom to decide, to be the manager of my own inner peace and happiness, or if I'm going to disempower myself and give somebody else the apparent power and claim that they have the ability to make me happy. And by that same token, if I give them the ability to make me happy, that means I've given them the power to supposedly make me sad. I am not a body. I am free. I am still as God created. I reclaim my divine birthright and now realize I'm free from my past. I have all my energy available to create a great day for myself and my work. I accept the love of God, and I accept the total freedom to be or imagine anything I want today, knowing that I remain as God created, pure energy. And although today I will perhaps just see that energy field peering from the body, I will realize the truth that there is just energy, pure energy, and I am part of that. I accept the love of God and I bless myself. And to bless is to make holy, to realize that we all are whole, perfect, and complete. You are God's treasure. I accept the love of God and I extend that freedom to all to be on their own perfect path, knowing the truth that they too, like me, are part of that one self, perfect, whole, and complete. I accept the freedom and I realize as decision maker, I alone can forgive myself and give myself permission to accept the truth. I accept the at one for myself the truth that I remain, even in this game board of time and space, as God created. I am not a body, I am free. Now reconnect with that game token. And as you do, send it unconditional love. Realize that this costume that you're going to be donning today is the perfect instrument for you to play your role, to be a teacher, to be a student on your own perfect path, and your sisters and your brothers' own perfect path of awakening. You can be in this moment. You could use all your energy circuit to ask the Holy Spirit, your inner God, in the roles that you're going to be asked to play today. What would love have me do? Unconditional love accepts all things, allows all things, forgives all things, trusts all things. Do they realize that these acts we play are just part of the big picture? And the big picture is that you remain as God created. I am not a body. I am free. I am still as God created. Today I accept the atonement, the at one for myself. And I go about guarding, which is being the truth as decision maker, helping my brothers and sisters and myself reclaim and reawake, perhaps gently, to the truth. I am not a body. I am free. I am still as God created me. And as decision maker, nothing can rob me of my own inner peace unless I choose to allow. Today, as decision maker, I reclaim my ability to make a different choice and listen to the voice of my higher self. And as you re-enter that game to that is your perfect instrument, that neutral communication. Reconnect to it. Send your energy, your love throughout the body, knowing that the body is going to fulfill the role you give it today to demonstrate what you truly value and why. You are free from your past. And as you circulate that energy, perhaps as you get down to the soles of your feet, send a lightning bolt down, reconnecting to the stage that we're our game. We need to be able to reconnect with so that we can play our role today and just ask our higher God, what would love have me do? Create a great day for yourself and your world. Namaste. The God in me recognizes the God in me. Thank you.
Tom, it doesn't get much better than that. This is the, in a sense, a final performance of all of our past, if we choose to see it that way. That we are no longer confined to or connected to the past scripts that we wrote for ourselves or that we believe other people wrote for us to act out. It is all a stage out there, so to speak. And we go on and play a different part. We play a part for, a few months on Broadway maybe. And then we go and try another part out. We don't particularly like that one, so we don't continue with that. Who would have thunk that we could actually have life turn out the way we really want it to be? I can remember clearly in my past, going back to the 60s, when all us baby boomers were tripping out, doing things that everyone else thought was crazy, like not combing your hair like the Beatles didn't, and things like that. Everything was starting to change. Women were burning their bras. Men were tripping out. Of course, men, women, all of this was going on. And any way they could get away from the reality in which we were living was okay. It was open book, whatever. And that's the time that this book, A Course in Miracles, appeared, 1966. I had a vision about the fifth dimension in 1966. A lot of people were seeing the world new. Listen to any song by Bob Dylan, any song, you pick it. He was our prophet back then. Times they are changing, he sang. Others, well, actually, it was his song, Blowing in the Wind. That's where the answers are. They're sure not inside us. That's the way we came to understand back then, because nothing inside us was working. We had to find a new way. And we were given a new book, Course in Miracles, to teach us that it's up to us. It's not up to anyone else. To this day, there's one real problem left over that I believe is bigger than any problem we've had, and for which the solution we're talking about is clearly the perfect and only solution. What is that? Racism. Racism. Not 400, but 500 or 600 years now. White people decided that they were better, no matter what they were seeing in front of us, in front of them, no matter what. And they taught their children, who taught their children, who taught their children, separation, segregation. It's still on this planet. The Course in Miracles, among other things, teaches us there is no reason for separation, because we are all one, and we can love everybody, not just ourselves, not just our parties, not just our families. Now it's a big open game. When COVID came and pitted family members against family members closer than they wanted to be, things started to change also. I said, I don't really think the way you did, Dad. or mom or son or daughter. We all have individualities, but we hadn't always had the freedom to pursue them. And as long as they are in the line of love, we can change our life. We can make new decisions. That's what this book is about. And in the way that I started to explain from my point of view, it could, and I think will, predict the end of racism also. Because
Sounds good to me.
it's saying we are not our body. We are not black, gray, red, whatever. That has nothing to do with us. That's not what we are. And the unfortunate people who have suffered from this racism can become free. Just as free, or in fact, maybe more free, because they can see it more clearly and have seen it more clearly in their history. They can see, I'm not my body. What that man did to me, he had no business doing that. Now, what I do about it is the second thing that Tom brought up is, okay, let's find out what the Holy Spirit would like us to do so that this works out the best for all people involved. It's an amazing thing, because you can't outdo the bigness of this vision. You can say, I mean, today, we got so many movies talk about different costumes on the play. You got aliens in the movies now, and you've got new, bigger, and more ridiculous monsters, and then there are the zombies running around, and the people in the Matrix, and all of these different ways that we can be if we want to be, or act out that way if we want to be, or we can accept the simple truth that we are the children of God, of pure love, and we can change this world. This is what this book is about, one person at a time, starting with ourselves. A whole world of time and space, as Tom puts it so beautifully and eloquently, when seen correctly through the lens of A Course in Miracles, gives us these options to change the world. That's nothing new to a guy like me, who was a baby boomer, and we thought we could change everything. And you know what? I'm still around, and I'm still changing things, and I'm changing things on a bigger and bigger scale in my life right now, because I believe in these things that are in this book. So that's my my feeling about this. There's one other thing I want to add. Because I've been wanting to write a book for many, many years. I've taken courses, I've taken things. And then there's another group that's on Clubhouse, which I used to go to. And it said, share your story, change your story. And that, while on the one hand, it was meant to help me write a book about all of this, instead, my story kept changing and enlarging, where I'm now working with people in a foreign country, in Liberia, that I just stopped the book because there's more to this. Now I realize that it's time to finish the book, because it may change the story, but it will complete that story. And that's okay. And I can go write a whole new story for the rest of my life as to what it will be. In our joint history and what I learned in a course that was going to be teaching me about books, they said you have to have a secret juice. You have to have a silver bullet. And the point they made was that a book called The Art of War, which is about 2,500 years old and is still around, one of the oldest books, the secret bullet in there was the art of war is deception. When I think about that, my mind immediately goes to, well, what's the art of peace? The art of peace is the opposite of deception. The art of peace is truth, with a capital T. That sums this all up for me and leads me to look forward to tomorrow when we will be starting. Today was 219 or 220, Lee? Forget. Let's see, 219.
Today's
Tomorrow's
219.
right.
Tomorrow's
220.
220 and the end of the grouping. Yeah.
Okay, we're going to group that. We're going to end that. And we're going to move on to changing our lives as we see them in a way in concert with what the Holy Spirit wants all of us to do.
But
And
let's
he's
not
been
get ahead of ourselves. Let's focus on today's lesson, because today is about not being a body and being free. And
tell
you
me
can't
about it.
get to tomorrow. You can't get to
How much?
tomorrow without
Tell me
dwelling
about
in today. Today is the day. We started at 6:30. We're going to starting at 6:30 sharp. And so my moderators are showing up a little earlier. We're all working our little kinks out of the system. But I do need to find a way to wrap up the stream every time, and I keep forgetting a little bit. So